Hello, welcome to my channel WWE Pulse.
In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important members of any wrestling roster. Now, not necessarily an in-ring performer, though it could be said that they are a type of wrestler. But what I'm talking about is essentially a glorified interviewer who typically sits ringside and asks the questions that allow the top stars to cut some of their best promos. This individual has been called many things over the years, including Backstage Interviewer or simply The Interview. And in this video, we're going to look at some of the men and women who have held the title of the greatest backstage interviewer in pro wrestling history. But before we get started, I want to say thank you for clicking on this video. And if you enjoyed what you see, please make sure to leave a like down below. Also, let me know in the comments section who your favorite backstage interviewer of all time is. And to kick things off, let's talk about one of the most famous examples of this role in pro wrestling history. And that man was, of course, Mean Gene, known simply as Gene to his colleagues and fans alike. There was no one quite like him when it came to conducting interviews during his first run with the W, which spanned from 1972 to 1993. He was often seen in the squared circle, engaging with superstars from the likes of Andre the Giant to Hulk Hogan. It seemed he interviewed everyone during his time with the company. The reason he became so popular in this role is because he did not try to insert himself into this. Instead, he asked the right questions that allowed the wrestlers to deliver some of the most memorable promos of all time. Gene knew how to make himself look like a fool. If it meant that the wrestler he was interviewing would look better, and he did this willingly. In fact, he understood that part of his job was to put the talent over and help them get heat. That's why when he suffered a storyline injury courtesy of the Iron Sheik, the wrestlers showed up to check on him in a heartwarming moment that helped elevate the Arab Giant even more than he already was. While he might have been best known for his work in WWE, Akron actually started out with the NWA and went on to interview some of the biggest names in the industry during his time at WCW. The list is just too long to mention here, but some of the men he interviewed included Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, and Harley Race. He died at the age of 65 in 2004, but his legacy lives on. Speaking of the NWA, one of the greatest backstage interviewers to ever ply his trade with that organization was none other than the legendary Gordon Solie. Solie began working with the NWA in 1963, initially as a play-by-play announcer. However, he soon moved into the role of interviewer. During his time in the NWA, Soliari was known for his deep voice and eloquent style of conducting interviews. He never went into the ring, instead remaining ringside while wearing a suit and tie. This made him stand out from the typical boisterous personalities that were commonly seen in the role at the time. Solie was also known for his ability to make the wrestlers he interviewed feel comfortable and at ease. He had a natural charisma that put them at ease and allowed them to deliver some of their best promos. This was especially true for young or inexperienced wrestlers who would often feed off of his energy and confidence. A great example of this was the way he handled an interview with a young Ric Flair in 1974. Flair was still relatively unknown at the time and was known for being a bit green in the ring, but Soleri's ability to make him feel comfortable during an interview helped to put Flair over and establish him as a top star in the end. Over the years, Solie went on to conduct countless memorable interviews with some of the biggest names in the business, including Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, and Lou Dish. His contributions to the NWA and the world of professional wrestling as a whole have not been forgotten. In fact, He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2008. Sadly, Solier passed away in 2009 at TRA of 81, but his legacy continues to live on in the memories of those who knew him and the fans who watched him interview some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Moving on, we have to talk about one of the most unique examples of the Backstage Interviewer in pro wrestling history. This man was, of course, Jonathan Coachman. Coachman was a sports journalist who worked for ESPN before joining WWE in 2002. He was brought in to revamp the Backstage Interview segment. He did just that by bringing a more sports-centric approach to the role. Coach Truman was known for his charismatic personality and his ability to conduct interviews that felt more like a sports interview than a typical wrestling promo. He was particularly skilled at putting wrestlers on the spot and getting them to react in real time. This led to some very candid and unscripted moments that often resulted in some of the most memorable interviews in WWE history. One of his most famous interviews was with The Rock, in which he challenged The Rock to a wrestling match. The Rock responded by giving Coachman a rock bottom, and the interview quickly turned into a brawl. This segment helped to solidify Coachman's reputation as a fearless interviewer who was not afraid to put himself on the line in order to get the best from his subjects. Another one of his most notable interviews was with Brock Lesnar after Lesnar had defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. Coachman was able to get Lesnar to open up about the significance of the match and the emotions he was feeling at the time. It was one of the few times that Lesnar had shown vulnerability on camera, and it was a testament to Coachman's ability to connect with him on a personal level. Sadly, Coachman was released from WWE in 2009 due to budget cuts, but he went on to continue his career in journalism and even returned to ESPN in 2014. Before we move on, I want to say thank you for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like down below. Also, let me know in the comments who your favorite Backstage Interviewer of all time is. Next up, we have to talk about the one and only Michael Cole. Cole is currently in his 31st year with WWE and has been serving as the company S-lead announcer since 1997. He has also been the voice of Raw since the show's inception in 1993. However, many fans forget that Cole got his start in the industry as an interviewer. During the early days of his career, he was known for his signature catchphrase, "Yes, sir." And his interviews often took place outside of the ring, allowing him to engage with the wrestlers in a more casual setting. Cole was particularly adept at putting wrestlers on his spot and getting them to reveal their true feelings. This often led to heated exchanges and even physical altercations between Cole and the wrestlers he was interviewing. For example, in a 2008 interview with Randy Orton, Cole challenged Orton S claims that he was the legend killer, and the two eventually got into a physical altercation. Another memorable interview took place with CM Punk in 2011, when Cole questioned Punk's decision to walk out on WWE and join the Straight Edge Society. This led to a heated exchange in which Punk accused Cole of being jealous of his success. Despite the sometimes contentious nature of his interviews, Cole was always able to maintain a sense of professionalism and keep the segments moving forward. His ability to think on his feet and come up with clever retorts to the wrestlers' insults was truly impressive and often left fans on the edge of their seats. While Cole is now best known for his announcing work, his contributions as an interviewer should not be forgotten. He helped to elevate many wrestlers during his time in the role, and his interviews were some of the most must-see segments in WWE history. Last, but certainly not least, let's talk about Kayla Braxton. Braxton joined WWE in 2017 and has since become one of the most recognizable faces of the company. She is currently the host of WWE Is the Bump and has served as a backstage interviewer for both Raw, and Braxton is known for her bubbly personality and her ability to connect with the audience. She's also adept at putting wrestlers on the spot and getting them to open up during interviews, which has led to some memorable segments on Raw. For example, Braxton once interviewed Bobby Lashley after he had defeated Braun Strowman to win the WWE Championship. She was able to get Lashley to open up about the emotions he was feeling at the time and the significance of the championship victory. Braxton has also shown that she's not afraid to stand up to the wrestlers she's interviewing. In a 2021 interview with Roman Reigns, Braxton challenged Reigns' claims that he was the head of the table, and the two eventually got into a heated argument, despite the sometimes tense nature of her interviews. Braxton always maintains a sense of professionalism and keeps the segments moving forward. Her quick wit and ability to think on her feet has impressed fans and fellow wrestlers alike. While Braxton is still early in her career, she's already made a name for herself as one of the best backstage interviewers in WWE history. She has carried on the tradition of excellence that was established by the likes of Mean Gene Okerlund and Jonathan Coachman, and has become an integral part of the WWE family. That's all for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like down below, and I can't wait to bring you another video in the near future.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.